ImprovementPill here. I wanted to make more Q&A videos, so I asked you guys about what sort of issues you were facing. And one of the most popular suggestions was about procrastination. How do we get ourselves to do the things that we know we have to do? And I think a great answer to this problem is actually one of the few things that I learned in my short college career that has stuck with me till this very day. It's something that is also taught in the military, and it's called the 6 Ps. And it stands for prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Now, on the surface, this catchy little phrase sounds rather simple and self-explanatory, but there's actually a lot of wisdom in it. And to be more specific, there are 3 powerful lessons that we can learn from the 6 Ps. The first lesson is that if we physically prepare for something, it will make it significantly easier to go ahead and do it. Let me explain. So let's say, for example, we want to make going to the gym into a habit, but we've been having a lot of issues sticking to this routine. Some days we wake up feeling tired and unmotivated, and we just can't get ourselves to go to the gym. Here's where the 6 Ps come in. We can physically prepare beforehand by wearing our gym clothes to bed. Why would we want to do this? Well, studies have found that it actually requires more willpower and mental energy to put on your gym clothes and walk out the front door to go to the gym than the actual workout that takes place at the gym. And this is because putting on your gym clothes requires you to make a decision. Should I go to the gym today? It's this decision that gives us the hardest time, right? We never have an issue lifting weights at the gym when we're already there. We basically do that automatically. The issue has always been convincing our lazy ass to get out of bed, to put on our gym clothes, and to go to the gym. If we wear our gym clothes to bed, we're basically making the decision to go to the gym the night before. So we don't have to spend nearly as much mental energy in the morning, which makes going to the gym much easier. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. The second lesson we can get from the 6 Ps is that by doing certain things today will prevent problems down the line. Some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's common sense. My issue is that even though I know I'll have problems down the line, I still don't do the things I have to do. Well, the reason this happens is because you don't face these problems properly. What do I mean by this? Well, I have a couple of friends who always complain about not having enough money, and the funny thing is, every single one of them has told me that they have a hard time checking their bank account. They do everything in their power to avoid looking at how little money they have left. And this is because looking at their balance makes them feel bad. They don't want to face their problem. Why is simply taking a good look at your problem so effective? Well, Grant Cardone actually told a story about how he keeps as little money as possible in his active bank account so that it always looks and feels like he's about to go broke. So every time he looks at this balance, every time he faces his problems, he is overcome with anxiety. He then uses that to motivate himself to work hard and make more money. That's the powerful thing about facing your problems. It causes anxiety, it causes fear, and fear is without a doubt one of the most motivating factors out there, right? If I held a gun to your head and I told you to stop procrastinating and finish your work right now, I guarantee that you'd do it immediately. Now you're probably wondering, well, what's the most effective way to activate this fear? Well, it's all about visualizing. You need to sit down and really imagine what it would be like if you didn't stop procrastinating. Be a bit negative and assume the worst case scenario. I know this sounds a bit complicated, so let's run through an example together. Let's say you want to start some sort of online business, but you've been putting it off for months. What would happen if you didn't start working on that business today? Well, the fact of the matter is every single day you wait, more and more people are going to find success online. This means whatever market you're trying to get into is getting more and more saturated by the minute. You have less and less of a chance of succeeding. This means you'll be stuck working that 9-to-5 job you hate so much. Focus in on how that makes you feel. Think about how much you currently hate your job. Think about what annoys you the most during work. Do you feel bad because you know that you're meant for so much more? Do you feel its negative side effects on your diet and health? What about your social life? Is it making you a miserable person to be around? What would it be like to have to work there for another 5 years? If you're in a situation like this and you do this visualization exercise properly for at least 10 minutes, you should start to feel some sort of anxiety building up within you. You should feel like you need to take action right now in order to make sure this terrible scenario doesn't happen. And that's basically the gist of how visualizing your problems work. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Speaking of doing things today to prevent problems down the line, this episode was brought to you with the help of the guys at T.H. Hanley. The thing about skincare, especially for the face, is that most of us guys don't ever think twice about it. But the truth of the matter is, if you start taking care of your skin today, it will prevent wrinkles and signs of aging from developing 5 to 10 years down the line. It can actually make a huge difference. performance. Teach Hanley is perfect for this. I know skincare can sound very complicated, but they provide you with an easy to follow step-by-step system so that you can prevent any problems with your face down the line. They provide you with the highest quality ingredients and also all of the tools you need to have in order to properly take care of your skin, including things like face wash, exfoliator scrub, AM and PM moisturizer, which will help protect your face from harmful UV rays, eye cream to prevent eye wrinkles, and even serum to keep your skin smooth and soft. I've been testing them for a little over a month now, and I feel much better knowing that I'll still be looking young and handsome 5 years down the line. Teach Hanley is holding a special promotion today just for you guys. Click on the link in the description box below to find out more about this special offer and also to learn more about Teach Hanley skincare products, including their new acne system. Now, the final lesson that the 6 P's teaches us is that by actually laying out the plans of what we want to do, we'll be more likely to get things accomplished. What do I mean by this? Well, our brain is kind of like a horse. If there's no one riding the horse, if you don't give it any directions, it will just roam around doing whatever it wants. You've probably noticed this before in your own life. If you have no plans for the following day, you most likely just bum around on autopilot doing whatever. Now, this brings up the question of, well, how exactly should we give our horse directions? How should we lay out and plan ahead? Well, there are tons of different ways to do so, but I'll share with you what I find to be the most effective. As some of you guys already know, I use whiteboards to organize a large part of my life. One of these boards is what I like to call the to-do board. Basically, what I plan on doing the next day, and I almost always finish everything on this board, mainly because I stick to a couple of fundamental rules. The first rule is that I only put a maximum of 3 things on the board. Sometimes I even do just 1 or 2 things. If I can complete whatever is on the board, that means I've accomplished all the work I need to do and I can relax. If I want to do more work, that's up to me, and oftentimes I do. But the reason I put so few things on the board is because I want to make completing the board into a habit. If you have too many tasks, you're gonna find it very hard to complete the entire board every single day. Maybe you'll do so for a week, but chances are your streak won't last very long. By lowering your standards and only putting a few things on the board, you can develop this habit much easier. And once the habit is locked in, it starts to feel extremely uncomfortable when you think about not completing the board, and you can use that feeling to your advantage. The second rule I have is to use chunking, which is essentially breaking big tasks down into tiny parts. For example, I won't put something like finished video for next Saturday on the whiteboard because it would take me around 10 hours of non-stop work just to be able to pull this off. When you present your brain with such a big challenge, it's not going to want to do it. It seems way too hard, so you procrastinate and you'll say, hey, we'll just do this later. Instead, I'll put something like write the rough draft, which is something that I know I can get done in about an hour. This is a much less challenging foe in the eyes of my brain, and because of this, it sees no reason to push it aside because it knows we can easily get this done right then and there. So remember guys, if you're having issues with procrastination, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. The 6 P's teaches us that we should physically prepare ourselves for things that we have to do the next day in order to make it easier to accomplish. It also teaches us that we should sit down and face our problems head on. Visualize the consequences of not doing the things you know you have to do in order to generate fear and anxiety as forms of motivation. And finally, it teaches us that by planning out exactly what we want to accomplish tomorrow, it will give our brain some direction to run in. We should stick to chunking and only try to hit a small amount of goals in order to make this into a habit. And that's it guys. Prior planning prevents piss poor.